Okay, so I am recording this video because every guide on how to skip the Last Epoch campaign have fucking failed me. Because people do not give you enough information on how to actually get to places you need to be to skip the campaign through Temporal Sanctum. So I will explain this in a way that is mostly full, and so you don't get stuck like I did, because I kind of needed to figure this out. Okay, so you want to skip the campaign. You have an alt, maybe you just have the keys, you start a new character, you are here. You are in Council Chambers, and you completed enough quests to get your Ascendancy, subclass, whatever you want to call it. For me it's a Warlock, I made an alt, it was Void Knight, you know the drill. You end up in End Time, and you get an old man, and you talk to him, and you get your subclass. These does two things. First of all, you get your subclass, and second one, you unlock your monoliths. This is very important for later, because you will need to be power leveling to actually complete the dungeons, so you can skip the campaign itself. So, we were in Ruined Era, here we are. So, we complete everything, we get back to Council Chambers, and our story quest will lead us to the east, right here. This is what we will get to the north, and to Lightless Arbor. Lightless Arbor, Tier 1, is a level 20 dungeon. It is generally not difficult, but I was completing it on my alt with Weaver items. So if you're doing this naked, maybe it will be slightly more difficult for you. Depends on your class, depends on your spec. I cannot speculate on how effective it would be. But Tier 1 is level 20. I completed it on level 16, but I had gear. So, if you do not think you can do it, you don't feel powerful enough, what you should do is to begin power leveling through monoliths. And you just go to Fall of the Outcast, and you start progressing it. And you do not care really if you die or not, you just get your levels, and get maybe to level 20, maybe to level 25, whatever you feel. And you go back. Here it is. You go to Lightless Arbor. This is the kicker. So you complete the Lightless Arbor. It spits you out right here. Or right here. I forgot which one. So, one of these fast travels. And you immediately get the ability to jump into Soulfire Bastion. Soulfire Bastion Tier 1 is level 45, as far as I remember. So the dungeon is a little bit more difficult, but the actual difficulty in Soulfire Bastion is the Necromancer boss at the end. I forgot what he's called, actually. I was farming his belt for 2 hours yesterday, and I don't even remember his name. So, he will destroy you. Even if, dungeon is generally, feels easy for you. And the tips for the dungeon is, stay in the fire shield, not in necrotic shield, because most of necrotic spells from the enemies in the dungeon are well telegraphed. But most of the fire spells are prolonged damage, which comes out immediately. So that would be a problem on low levels, or even if you're level 45, and there are some patches of Burning Ground. So it's better to, by default, get your shield to fire mode, and just stick with it. Also, it switches to Necrotic Shield every time you go through a loading screen. So you might as well switch it up when you go through it. So, it spits you out, you're probably level 25. So, it recommends you level 47, I did it on level 45. You need to do two things. First of all, you need to get to level 45 at least to kill the boss. Again, you do it with monoliths. You do it very fast with monoliths. But And this is the biggest problem people face when reading a guide on how to skip the actual campaign. Lost it. Is that if you complete Soulfire Bastion, you get to Divine Era, and you get here to Kolheim Pass. The reason why you do this dungeon is not to skip to the point where you can get to Temporal Sanctum. You do it to unlock Arena and to unlock many side quests that will give you idols and passives that will happen in the city and around it. That's why you do it. What you actually need to do, and what nobody in guides mention, is that you need to go to the left, right here. And this is where this ship will take you to the entrance of Temporal Sanctum in Shining Cove. Every guide I have read is like, okay, when you finish the second dungeon, oh, you just teleport here? Yeah, cool, it's fucking locked. What do you mean? What do you mean just get... So you go to the left, and you get to the Shining Cove. You will have an NPC, you crashed or something, and what will happen, let it load, is that you will get here, and you will get to the door. The door is important because it will be locked for you. And that's the second question people have, is that why does the door not unlock for me? Because for many people on their first playthrough, the door just unlocks like this. It is just unlocked and that's it. The reason why it happened is because they did the prerequisite additional quest you get in the town. So you need to go up first and complete side quests until the game tells you to go to Temporal Sanctum. And then you can go here and get into the portal. And when you get into the portal, you go to Ruined Era, and you get to Temporal Sanctum. That's how you enter it. You do not just progress through the story. If you just progress through the story with the dungeons, where you will end up is like right here, and then you complete Temple of Herod. Here, Herod, yes. And then it will, like, send you to Logan. That's not where you're supposed to go. So, Temporal Sanctum is level 55. Again, you go do your monoliths, and you get your level 55. And really, Temporal Sanctum is kinda difficult. So maybe you even want to level a little bit more before tackling it. When you do, and you finish the boss, you will be spit out in Radiant Dunes, and you can go to Majelka proper immediately. If you don't, you will need to fight Logan, and you will end up here. That's what I accidentally did. I progressed through the story so much, I killed Logan, and I ended up here and realized that I'm at the exit. And I didn't need to do that. So that's what you need to do. Again, in this part of the map, you need to get to level 45 here, but you also need to progress west to get to the place where you will get to Temporal Sanctum. And then you just complete the campaign and get your +1s to all attributes with the final boss. And if you are not strong enough, you just go to Monolith and level up and get your gear. So, thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope this helps.